This week we're going to be looking at how to write files. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the higher team for week 4 writing files, and you look at writing data. So first one is very easy. It's just kind of like following step by step. The task is here. If the task appears like this on your screen, I'm not sure how it's going to look. This is like the code I've written out for it, and it's called Markdown language. If it does appear like this, just press this button here, and then it will appear like that. But I'm not sure how it's going to look on your end. Anyway, task is just to write the array Japanese bikes to an external CSV file. So let's look at the code. There is, well, I've already got it. Let's delete that for a second, because you won't have that. There will be an array of 4 bikes, and you've just got to write them to another file, a CSV file specifically. So let's copy this code, and then if we put it up here, now import CSV, what that means is it gives us access to the CSV predefined functions. Now, we've used predefined functions before, like print and len, and they're commonly used. They're just always part of Python. But there are less common things which are hidden under the CSV file. This is the same as, if you remember back in Nat 5, you did random numbers, you had to do import random. Same deal there. Random numbers aren't that common of a thing that they're used every day, so you have to kind of get access to them. You need to go find those subprograms, those predefined functions, sorry. And then, so what this will do is whatever array you pass down to it, or arrays, this one's just got one array, it will open up a new file called whatever you want here. So we're going to call it Japanese, can't spell, bikes.csv. And W stands for write, so R before was read. Data equals csv.writer. Don't think too much about this. This is just what makes it work. Don't give yourself a headache over it. But you're going to loop through each line through the size of the array, whatever the name of the array is you pass down, and then you're going to write each row individually, and then you're going to close the file. You don't really need to close the file, that's just polite. And this bit is just, it's for us, it's so that we know it's worked, because a lot of the time it might have worked and you don't even realize it. So we've got Japanese bikes, so let's, before that actually, let's call the subprogram down here, so write to file, and we're going to pass Japanese bikes, okay? And then we're going to rename this to be called bike array, and then we'll put bike array here and here, right? And if we run that, there you see write complete not known otherwise if that wasn't here, and then this file pops up, japanesebikes.csv, and one at a time is each of the bikes, and that's it. That's task 1, and that's how easy it is to write a file. Now I'll have a quick look at the second task, because it's very similar. Now what you have to do is read in from another file first, right? And so we've got a different file here about British cars and the years like the company was founded. So you need to remember which one of these reading from file subprograms you have to use, which template, and then we've just to display the data in full sentences. And then once you've displayed it, you have to write it as well. And then this is what your expected result should look like. Now, rather than start like the whole program and show you everything step by step, I'm just going to edit the first task, which it's not actually what you've got to do for this, but it's just so similar. So like say we had another array, right? And you wanted to write 2 of them. So that's what that task is. The reading files bit, you should know how to do that. I'm not going to do that right now, but let's say you want to write 2 arrays to the file. I'm just going to call it, let's just make one down here. We'll call it year array again, as if it was the year they were founded. I don't know the year they were all founded, so I'm just going to make it up. We're going to go 19 1965 for Honda, and 1971 for Kawasaki. Suzuki will be the year 1800, and Yamaha will be the year 2. We'll just make it that for now, right? Now, if you had multiple arrays, you would just write year array here, comma, year array, and then you would write year array here. I should really be giving these different names, so I'll call this year list, and I'll call this year list. Year array, remember, it's good practice to have the top above, anything above the main program with one name and everything below with another name. So if you put year array here, and then you just go comma year array I. Okay, now if you look closely, you'll notice there's an extra set of square brackets here surrounding the whole thing, which we haven't really seen before in anything else. It only comes up when we're writing files, and I'll explain that in a minute, right? But make sure it goes in that set of square brackets. If you run this, write complete, and we look at the file now, as you can see, it's just added it side by side with a comma. That's great, that's exactly what we want. Now, let's say you didn't have these square brackets and you got rid of them. You run it. Oh my, I just broke everything. I'm not even sure. How did that break it? That's not what I expected, but okay. Right, I was expecting something, it just to come out looking weird, but what if we took this away, right? I'm gonna cut this. Right, so this is just the bikes for now. And as you can see, without the square brackets, it comes out bizarre. It treats every single letter individually. So that is why I have put square brackets in the template, so it thinks there's like it's just a big array, and that's like a little cheat to fix it. But yeah, this is what we wanted. I think that's back to normal. Now let's say you wanted a sentence in between it. You can do that as well. You just write the name. So bike array, and then you just go was founded in comma, and that should work. There you go. Honda was founded in 1965. I need to do something very similar with like the next program, the next task. Now, if you don't like the commas, because I don't, it's irritating me, like that's fine, but it's getting on my nerves. To change that, rather than use commas here, right, you need to write plus, and then plus here, which will join all of the strings together. Now if you run that now, there'll be an error because you're adding a string, so this is a string to an integer. So what you need to do is, before your array, go str, so this converts it into a string, and surround your array with that. If you run it, it'll say write complete, and now you can see it's almost working. Now it says a string plus a integer converted into a string. It's happy adding them, but it's being very literal with how it's adding them together. Like it's actually joining up the words. So what you would go back and do is just do a space there. You don't have to do this. Normally the commas add the spaces, but the plus way doesn't. And then you do a space here, and you run it, and that's it. Honda was founded in 1965. Maybe, I don't know the actual year. So that's how you do the first two tasks. The one after that is right, reading using data and writing. So what you have to do is you have to read in the numbers file. So there's a bunch of numbers here, and I'm not gonna show this line, I'm just gonna quickly go over it, just so it makes sense. And you just have to make it so there's one subprogram to read it in, another one to multiply the two numbers together. So it should be 1 times 1, 4 times 2, 5 times 6, and so on. Sorry, not times, just add them together. And then you should make a method to display, and then it should print this out. So the coursework will commonly ask you to display something, and it will also ask you to write something. now it's quite easy. Once you've got the display bit, you can just copy and paste a lot of it and put it in the write bit. So you have to display that, and then writing it, you don't have to write it in full sentences if you don't want to, it's up to you. That's what it should look like. So, and the last program is a bit harder, and it is, where is it? So you have to read in a file of frogs. So I've made it, I've got the frog's name, its stage of development, so if it's a frog, a tadpole, a froglet, or an egg, and where it lives, like what pond it lives in or whatever. So this is a bit trickier, and it's more like, I'm not really going to say how you do it, but what you need to do is create a new subprogram that asks the user for what stage of development the frogs are in, and then it will look through each of these middle ones, and it will check, and if it gets a match, it saves the name, the stage, and the location to a new array. So, well, there should be a bunch of a new array for each one, so it would be like new name array, new stage array, and new location array. And then once you've got that data, you can display it, and then you can also write it. And I've got a bunch of extension tasks here as well to like make sure to push yourself and only ask for certain words. To be fair, this is NAT 5, so I mean it's hard NAT 5, but input validation is NAT 5. And this is just counting occurrences. So once you've got everything running, like the whole program, it should be like run, what stage of frog are you looking for? So if I was looking for tadpole, nothing even happened there, great. If I was looking for tadpole, there were 5 tadpoles found, and then it will just tell me which tadpoles are there. And then this is written to a file as well called amphibians here. Right, so hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, the first task is just very simple. You just have to give it like a new file name, really, and the second one isn't that much different. And then the other two, you just kind of have to do something with the information before writing it. Right, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.